Are we live? How's this thing work? I don't even know if it's working. Is it working? Why does it sound like weird? Is it working now? Yeah, now it's moving. That's weird. That's weird. Oh my gosh. What day is today? Is it Friday yet? I don't think so, unfortunately. Guys, it's been a heck of a time. It's been a heck of a time. And anyway, tonight we're gonna do some. We're gonna take it that turn, that expert turn. You know, when it's like, what's he gonna talk about now? What's happening next? And do you ever start wearing pants? No, I'm not gonna wear pants. That's stupid. Anyway, all that good stuff. It is tonight. We're gonna make a turn. So it's same old me. Just new topics, new topics. We're getting ready for a new year. I had a thing today. Well, hang on a second. I'll tell you guys about a second. Hey, K Ray, how you doing, Kimberly? See, man, so I haven't been feeling all this great. No, I just now realized it's a lung thing. Oh wow, T42, how you doing? Shane, what's up? Let's see here. Mel Mac, how are you doing? Oh, sorry, I thought I heard something. Hey, this guy's an idiot. Look at this guy. What a dork. Oh man. Calvin Stover, how you doing? I just need a latte, but I'll tell you what. I could use one. They have Dutch Brothers has a matcha latte. Jen Thunder, what's up? He was arrested again. No, not today. He wasn't arrested today. Peg Leg Cooter. Now, that's a name right there. That's a name. Cooter's the best place to get your car towed and worked on. How you doing, K-Bell? Megan O'Brien. Howdy. I know, should be eating these things. Silly Riley, how you doing? Maybe. It's long things, y'all. It's long things. Sorry, I'm trying to get over all this stuff. I had a rough couple. Can't talk anymore. Can't talk anymore. Lennar, how you doing? I had to look back at 8580, see if that spelled out something. Oh my goodness gracious, Melmac, you came here because of Baker. By the way, were you in the Fifth Element? Is your name Lilo? Doesn't that look like Lilo, her avatar? Hey, Rose with Thorns, how you doing? Why do I keep hearing stuff but nothing's popping? Oh, wait a second. Is this popping? No, nothing's popping. Nothing that needs to be popping is popping. Holy cow, Kimberly Ray, 21 months. Hey, Melissa Jane, how you doing? Let's see, I gotta get down here. Alicia, how you doing? Is your hair in like Cindy Lou Who curls? That is awesome. Bad Duck. How you doing, buddy? Kelly Stevie, how are you? Boy, I am way behind. I'm just gonna scroll on down here to we jump ahead. Kimberly Ray, 21 months. That's is that 3 years? I think it's a long time. This is a great chat, and thank you guys for being here. This is those of you that are new. The chat here, we're friendly. You can pick on me, but don't pick on each other. Okay, you can pick on me all you want to. I'll help you. Trust me, I'll help you. I'll give you mucho things to pick on. Other than that, we're just hang out and have a good time. Okay, we don't take anything too serious, and all that good stuff. Hey, T-Rex, how you doing, buddy? Miss Jessica, how are you doing? Yes, I am. So here's what we're gonna do tonight, Melissa. Hey, Stephen Brady, how are you? DK Cripple, what's going on? Uh, Rennie, I'm gonna say it wrong. Rennie Leavens, how I like to say it. Rennie Leavens. We'll figure it out later. Hey, Jay Simmons here. How are you doing? Stephen Fenner, how are you? Hey Danielle. Hey, did you guys know that Danielle, I believe she her YouTube numbers show that she is my number one fan. Is that not awesome? It's so cool. It's so cool. Harriet! Saw moon tonight. No, it wasn't my moon. I mean, it was a moon in the sky. I was wearing pants when I saw it. I'm gonna stop talking. No, that's actually me. I'm a hairstylist, 25 years. Oh my gosh, Melmac, can you do something with you make this look good? That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Oh my gosh. Rose with Thorns, member for 4 months. Thank you, Rose. And I love your pin cushion. You know that I've said before. And Kelly Steffi, I don't bully Steven, even if he says I do. Steven, where'd you go? Well, when you bully Kelly, it's okay. It's okay over here. Yvonne, how are you doing? May the new year bring you peace. Amen to that. Amen to that. And thank you. 21 months is 3 years less than 2 years. 36 is 3 years more than 2 years. Hey, I'll tell you what, man. You ever since you joined, you went to space camp, T-Rex. I can't keep up with you, brother. Yoli, how are you doing, y'all? This is my friend Yoli. I absolutely love this woman. Not in like that kind of way. Get your head out of the gutter, y'all. Can you tell I've been sick? I didn't realize how sick I was. Well, I mean, I'm mentally sick too, but Yoli's my bud, and she and I have had congruent problems. Almost say conflicting problems. We're not going to talk about it. It's good to see it, Yoli. Oh wait, hold on, Stephen Brady. Are you the one hiding from Kelly? It's okay. It's okay. Oh, is Hellfish here? Expert, did you watch the Big Ten? No, I didn't. I don't watch. My football season ended a long time ago. My football season's the story of American Pie. That makes sense. It's the age of Aquarius, isn't it? We're not Aquarius yet. Elvis was not in Aquarius, but I am. Surprising. You know what's really surprising is when your waitress says, "Are you an Aquarius?" I'm like, how do you know that? She goes, "It just figures. Do you by any chance drive a red sports car?" Why would you know these things? Anyway, Elvis is awesome. Yes. Congruent problems. There we go. Chad's moving too fast for me to individual LS. All right. So, y'all, this is a wonderful night. So let me go do a little back talk. Okay. Say Tuesday. I got to take trash out. Trash goes out on Tuesdays. So, never mind. So, what was that? Sunday, a week ago, Broken Baker had a stream, and he did 12 hours of gifting for others, or some of that's what he called it. And he invited me on, and I came in and was hanging out with him, and then he had the infamous Turtle Boy came on. Now, I've never met this guy. Okay, I've heard of him, and here's give you an honest take. Turtle Boy had something to do with Karen Reed. was a YouTuber that was sympathetic to her plight, and somehow along the way, a lot of drama got started. That's what I know of him. Okay, when I met him, seemed like a cool guy. I was like, man, I like you, dude. You seem like a cool dude. You know, I like hanging out with cool people. So anyway, hey King Bob, how you doing? What's happening? Hellfish Haven. Have you ever seen her voice statue? He's taking the moniker from? No. I tell you guys. Okay, so here's how it goes. On that stream, I'm listening. You know, I don't have much to say, which is weird for me, right? It's weird when an expert doesn't talk. It's like, what's wrong with him? Which is a true story. I've been asked that. What's wrong with you? But anyway, I hear the words that he got arrested for witness intimidation. I was like, oh, that's not a good thing, dude. Like, that's like mafia type stuff, right? Like, that's what you hear about. I mean, I honestly, I can't think of anything. I wouldn't even know the. I wouldn't even. Sorry, I've got a. What is that really a turtle? Oh, that's weird. Okay, so I just saw the Turtle Boy statue. That's weird. Thank you, King Bob. King Bob, you know what you're gonna get. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Anyway, we watched Real Time Expert get enthralled. Absolutely. And see, I didn't know anybody was watching the stream. I don't pay attention to numbers. I don't know what's going on. I just don't. It's not my style. I'm a different person every night. You know, I'm not a different person. I'm the same person every night, different topic every night. We're having a good time and we're going full speed ahead, right? All that good stuff. And then J7 there, I kind of knew her. Like, she had come into the chat maybe a few times before. And anyway, it was just I think who else? It was K Bell was there. I think she was making a lot of comments about me getting what you had a black screen. I had a black screen. How do I do a black right now? Is it black right now? What's happening? It's black right now, Christine? No. Okay. Thank you. Oh, yeah, I couldn't see myself. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because Baker, he's changed programs on us, and I'm not familiar with his streaming thing, and so the whole thing, this was something else that was weird. I've never done this before. This is a studio screen that I'm looking at. Okay, what you guys see, it's a little bit different on coming from YouTube, because by the time it's gone to YouTube, it's taken my image, it's gone through the filters here, it's uploaded, you know, to the resolution, and then it's coming down to it. And also, you know, there's like internet stuff happening, like bits and all the stuff that Al Gore invented, right? That creates an image, and then whatever resolution you guys are looking at, there's this process. So there's a lag. You know, there's a couple of seconds of lag and everything. I could not see on the studio screen. I was watching it on YouTube. So I was getting reactions like to things I was saying like moments later. It was crazy. But it was a good stream. And then Turtle Boy came on, and he hey Kelly, how you doing? So you used the filter, huh? What filter? I mean, I used right here. So see, that's how you get the glare out. I think you taught me that, or maybe not. And he's to clarify what he's talking about. Yes, that's exactly it, Heather May. That's exactly it. I saw a black screen when I was on Baker's studio. So it was a new thing. I mean, usually like you sit there and I'll tell you what, I honestly had this conversation with myself. I was like, you've done over 2,000 live streams. Like, I don't know. That's just on my channel. How many have I done on other people's and everything else? Being on, okay, I should be an expert at it by now, right? So I was like, you can go through this because I normally it would just freak you out. You'd be like, look, I can't get in here. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna come back, and then that doesn't work, and then you would quit. I've seen that happen before. A lot of people they get frustrated when their things aren't working right. Anyway, has nothing to do with everything else. It was a wild night. But what I heard though during then is when Turtle Boy came on, and I heard about him getting arrested. Hey, I've heard that before, but then it was false uh not false witness. It was intimidating a witness. And then he went to jail the day after Christmas, which I've recently found out is also his birthday. And he spent 2 months in jail. He gets out and they drop the charges. There's no trial. So those of you that don't know me, I do not practice law. Okay. I'm not licensed to. I don't do that stuff. However, my background's in politics and law. So when I decided the best way to go forward in politics was go to law school. So I went to law school and I did the whole legal thing for a while and didn't dig it. Anyway, through several follies and stuff, a lot of boring stuff, here I am. So what registers to me is that this seems like government actors with unclean hands stripping somebody of their due process. Now, due process is one of the things very special to me because how do you explain what due process rights are? It's a civil right. Everybody has that, but it's uniquely American. Okay. And here we are. We're talking about Massachusetts. I know all the jokes aside, the Commonwealth, the Massachusetts, the Taxachusetts, all these things aside, right? Mitt Romney, come on. All that stuff aside, Massachusetts is the birthplace of liberty as we know it. It was amazing. It has such an amazing history. That little teeny tiny little speck on a map has such a powerful and amazing part of American history that none of us would have what we have today if not for what was fought and died for right there in the cradle of democracy itself. And to hear about like somebody due process being stripped like that, being using a system against somebody to slap Lady Liberty in the face. That kind of aggravates me. So I perked up a little bit, right? And I started talking to Turtle Boy. I was like, wait a second, you say you went to jail for 2 months and they dropped charges? First of all, who even gets witness intimidation? Because you hear about that only in movies. I've never been involved in anything with witness intimidation. Never even been brought up. I will say the one time I was in court, I was held in contempt, and that's the last time I was ever in a courtroom. That had nothing to do with witness stuff. Anyway, let's see here. Yeah, it was court January 23rd, City of Cosgrove. Okay, so Imam, I gotta stop you right there. I know nothing about the case or anything else. And I have been, they haven't dropped the charges. Oh, I thought, see, this is how bad. So here we go. I want to go back to what it will explain things to me. And you guys know how I do this that have been around here. I do it in the raw, right? I watch stuff. I learn about things as you learn about things. So that way I'm not an actor, y'all. I can't make up stuff. Oh my gosh, look at the ceiling cats inside of a stocking. I am not an actor. I can't act. Okay. I can't pretend. I'm not a make-believe person. I am who I am. And what we're gonna do is I was sent a video that was told that without going through 3 years of stuff, this one video should help you catch up the most. And it's somebody named the lawyer, who I mean, I know the guy as like I've seen him before. I didn't know his name. For those of you that don't know, hey, Spawn Trooper, hey, Cricket, how you doing? I this whole thing got started like LawTube was a thing that's a verbiage that's thrown around, and it's stupid. Okay, it's stupid. I hate it. I don't like people didn't know. I probably was like 2 years before anybody even knew I went to law school. And then all of a sudden I started talking. I was like, no, this isn't right, And then I got in trouble. And people started like, oh, what do you mean? I was like, well, the way I learned about this and what I saw, it's different. So anyway, that's a little bit of my background. I just a little refresher on everybody. Team 42 says, love hearing your take on this. I can't wait to have a take on it because that's mine. And this is all for you, King Bob. I'm going to throw a couple extras in there. That's right. All you tubers out here are sexy. We got the sexiest chat in the tubes. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. All right. Oh, wait, hold on. Microphone's messed up, isn't it? Hello. All right, there he goes. Yeah, the microphone was messed up on my end. It doesn't show the right thing. What do you get when you cross a rabbit and a pit bull? It's just a pit bull. Bad duck. Oh my gosh. Hey, Money Sunshine, how you doing? For what? Oh, nothing's happened to him. I met him. That's what happened to him. The guy needs to hang out. There you go. That's the go back to Broken Baker. You guys can take that ammunition. Be like, Broken Baker, why'd you do this to Turtle Boy? All right, let me share what I've got. Okay. Wait, how did I do this? I feel like they change it all the time. All right, so here's what I got. We're going to listen to this together.
Yeah, I mean, he is a journalist who writes blog entries and has.
Hang on, so let me back up a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, he is a journalist,
Mark
who
Betterow,
writes blog entries and has.
And from what I understand, he is Turtle Boy's attorney.
In the Karen Reed case that led to it blowing up to the public case that it became. So, the Karen Reed case was always going to be, I think, some degree of public interest. I mean, you had a successful woman who was accused of mowing down a police officer boyfriend who ended up dead on the lawn of another police officer. I mean, that's, I think, always going to generate some media attention.
Why will this not? Hang on a second. Hold on a second. It won't let me switch back over. All right, there you go. Gosh, man, it wouldn't let me switch over. Sorry, y'all. All right, let me get this fixed. Go up here with Ceiling Cat. Wait, why won't that click, man? There we go. We'll go up here with Ceiling Cat. You guys see him? Yeah, you got media. We're going to take Ceiling Cat. Ceiling Cat! Not tonight, bud. Not tonight. Get back up there. All right, there you go. So if I'm correct, don't rush, man. It's good. Thanks, Spawn Trooper. Mark Betterow and Tim Brodell are Turtle Boy's attorneys. Thank you, Nan Cabby. So this is what this is a short video. We'll do it quick, okay? And guys, I don't do the fast forwarding thing here it messes with my hearing, man. It totally my wiring. Do you like that? Do you like that audio visual masterpiece I gave you? Jeez.
But what Aiden did was dig into the files and found some public filings in which Karen Reed's defense was making allegations of just sensational allegations related to what everybody is familiar with now, related to corruption, framing, incredible electronic data that is almost impossible to believe. And so he started publishing all of that. And in essence, overnight, he created the so-called, free Karen Reed movement, if that's what you call it, where she has an incredible amount of public support of people who go to court. They do these things called
Turtle Boy,
standouts.
he looked into the background
every single day, all over the country, all over the world. So he is responsible for making this become a large case. So during the course of his coverage, he's also a very provocative journalist. I mean, he's entertaining and has opinions. He's also an opinion.
One thing I want to start here. What I love is that he calls Turtle Boy a journalist. Now, since this conversation, there's a federal court in Florida that said that this whole world that we're in here, this little bubble I'm in, you see the little bubble right here? It's not journalist. Now, that's in Florida. Okay. That's just for the Florida ruling. However, look for that in the future. Hey, Squid, how you doing, babe? Look for that in the future to he's a shock jock journalist. I love that I cannot say hellfish for the life of me. Why? I mean, it's some of my favorite words right there. Because I don't eat fish. I don't like fish. However, let's go back to the basis of the Constitution, how I start here. What is journalism? Journalism is reporting the facts, okay? In any type of media, or medium, I guess you could call it, that gets it out to people. That's my definition of media journalism.
Journalist. He's not a reporter, if you will.
And, yeah, there he goes.
Many of the witnesses in this case, he would ask for comment or say things. Now there's a philosophical disagreement about what the First Amendment allows and doesn't allow, and whether a Massachusetts statute, which is kind of the boogeyman in all of this, their witness intimidation statute even is constitutional. But he ended up getting charged with numerous counts of witness intimidation for confronting people who are considered witnesses in the case and asking them questions or saying things that purportedly cause them emotional harm is the buzzword in the Massachusetts statute. They did this thing called a rolling rally, if you will, where they went to various places around Canton, Massachusetts, and either protested or, did their thing. And he got arrested for that. Only him, by the way, nobody else. Some of the
nobody else in the
indictment,
in the protest,
by the way, are the very same state police who are under attack and have been punished from the Karen.
Nobody else in the protest except for Turtle Boy got arrested. So they're saying that he organized it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he did. They're saying he organized it. He started. And there's also free assembly is not free. Okay, there are certain things because it's like you can't have people on the interstate blocking the road because to save the penguins of Madagascar, right? I mean, nobody cares about that. I got to get over here to the Dairy Queen, get me a dilly bar, whatever. But yeah, that's right. I forgot what I called you earlier. Your name's gonna change a lot around here because there's so many letters and vowels and numbers too. Oh, hey, 6'7", maybe 6'7". That's a hot one right now. He told the police, but were there by any chance were those things? They have to get a permit to rally. That's the thing. Do you have to have a permit? Yes, and no one else. Hey, Krista, how you doing?
Reed case. I mean, Michael Proctor is an alleged victim of Aidan Carney's witness intimidation, as is his direct supervisor. So he did get charged with that, and then he ended up getting a second indictment after an ex-girlfriend who contacted him after watching his show, and initially had been a big Free Karen Reed supporter. That relationship went south, and she accused him of a number of crimes that were seriously contesting, including another form of witness intimidation.
Wait a second. So did he just say Karen Reed is accusing Turtle Boy of crimes? Hold on, I gotta rewind that a little bit. I didn't hear that correctly. Oh, why don't I have closed captioning on? That way I can read it. That way I kind of get double the chances of knowing what's happening.
I mean, Michael Proctor is an alleged victim of Aidan Carney's witness intimidation, as is his direct supervisor. So he did get charged with that, and then he ended up getting a second indictment after an ex-girlfriend who contacted him after watching his show, and initially had been a big Free Karen Reed supporter. That relationship went south.
The girlfriend had been a Karen Reed supporter.
A number of crimes that were seriously contesting, including another form of witness intimidation, violating a restraining order. And long story short, as the Karen Reed case continues to go on and work its way, up and down the Massachusetts court system, Aidan has
I didn't do that.
Multiple cases, and they all directly result from his coverage of the Karen Reed case. If there's no Karen Reed case, there's no arrest. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, and I think allegedly, if people can't pick it up, he's kind of saying he's getting the whistleblower treatment, right? Like he's pointing out the corruption and the problems, and those exact people are the ones now weaponizing the government and the legal system against him. Now, I will say, for Aidan Carney, you said Carney, I pronounced it Kearney, that might be wrong. Okay, so Aidan Carney elicits strong emotions from people.
That's true.
Some love him, some hate him. I'm not sure which he enjoys more. But he doesn't really seem to care, and he pushes harder and harder and harder. He pushes the limits, he pushes the boundaries, and part of that really sheds a light on things, and I think exposes certain things. But other times it leaves open that even if what he is saying is good and appropriate and maybe needs to be discussed, maybe the way he's saying it or the delivery has caused some people some problems and some angst, right? And I think that a lot of what's going on here is something that the public looks at and they feel like they have to pick a side. And I feel like Aidan Carney from the beginning.
Okay, so listen, I wouldn't normally stop here. So I agree with what he's saying. So like, don't be an asshole. I mean, that's what the lawyer guy here is saying. Lawyer, whatever. I'm sorry. I don't remember. I don't watch other channels, y'all. I'm sorry. This guy, he's cool, though. He's got cool hair. I dig his hair. I used to have long hair. We're cool like that, I have the same sound barriers in the background. Well, not in this background. They're in the foreground here. But anyway, but no, don't be an asshole to people. And that's the thing about drama. Like I'm a no drama channel. So I'm like, it's YouTube, man. All this is fake. However, though, let's say Turtle Boy did all these things. Okay. He was just an asshole to everybody. Oh my gosh. Clutch your pearls, right? You have a right to be an asshole in this country. Yeah, you might get punched in the face for it, the Mike Tyson approach to things, but you do have a right to be an asshole. Sucks. I mean, it doesn't suck that you have a right to be. It sucks when you are wanting to like somebody, because a lot of people have bad days. So that I try not to be an asshole to people. My wife has said I suffer from assholeism. So Yes, that's right. The chat's gonna have to answer that one. He was a lawyer with good hair. That's it. Hey, but you know what? He does not go. If he saw Melmac Squid, he would have better hair. Okay, Melmac right here, because she looks like Lilu from Fifth Element. That's awesome. So Fifth Element's an awesome movie. All right, sorry guys. Whoops, I hit the wrong button. Yeah, that's not right. Okay, no, that's the wrong one. I'm on the wrong screen.
Has kind of pushed the picking aside, and now he's being swept up in this personally, which just I find that interesting, number one, but also could be pretty concerning that somebody completely on the outside of a case, maybe people could argue he's inserting himself in the case, I guess, but on the outside of a case is being swept up by the same officers, the same prosecutor's office, the same people he's calling out are also intimately involved now in his prosecution. And we have a legal system that we're supposed to be a profession of ethics, right? Of honor and recusing ourselves and removing.
Okay, another real quick one right here. When he says he's talking about lawyers, you're supposed to be ethical. Let me tell you guys what, man. There is, holy cow, the ethics training you go through as a lawyer is unbelievable. People always say, "Oh, lawyers lie." No, lawyers don't lie. They should, or they'll get disbarred. If you don't have to lie. Just telling the truth. Usually, people that say that, like lawyers lie, they're afraid that they can't handle the truth. I mean, they just can't. It's sad. We don't have filters. That's something they take from you. It's but I'll tell you, the taking legal ethics was one of the most eye-opening and crazy experiences in law school. So much so when I got out of school, like, man, I was I don't know. People didn't like to hear what I had to say a lot of times, but it's just me. No one ever does. I'm gonna go ahead and hit play again.
Ourselves from situations we know we shouldn't be in because there shouldn't even be the appearance of impropriety. And I think at the very least, the letters you wrote have shown that there's at least an appearance of impropriety about how this investigation happened against Aidan Kearney.
Well, yeah, I agree. And even before that, we talk about some of these people were caused angst, and that can be regrettable, that can be unfortunate. But whether that amounts to criminality in light of that, awful thing called the First Amendment, becomes part of the conflict here. I mean, he is a journalist, he's breaking stories, it's opinion journalism, but Massachusetts is very unique with its witness intimidation statute, that it basically says if you fall within the protected class as a witness, that if somebody causes you emotional harm, that subjects you to prosecution for witness intimidation, as opposed to most other states like New York, you get arrested for witness intimidation if you, I don't know, offer a bribe to change your story or threaten to break somebody's kneecaps.
It's emotional harm is the standard in Massachusetts.
I think
emotional harm
is at risk both on its face
Massachusetts
and as applied.
upsets my
but
emotion.
Beyond that point, when
the
you
whole
said
state
the appearance,
intimidator.
The state police are alleged to have engaged in serious corruption in the Karen Reed case, whether people agree with that or disagree with it. And there's a lot of smoke there. Michael Proctor is going to be fired. He's hanging by a thread right now. He's been
I think that guy
suspended without pay. We all heard his text messages. We all know the other allegations with him. You know about the other allegations against some of these other state police that are in trouble. And these are the people that Aidan Kearney reported about being corrupt. And these are the same people who are now prosecuting him as a journalist for witness intimidation, including witness intimidation committed against Massachusetts State Police troop. I mean, that's just absolutely awful.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this. This is something to ponder on. Maybe you guys know an answer. I don't know this. So the case against Karen Reed's over. Not guilty. Let's say, but I think someone said that the case against Turtle Boy is still going forward. let's say that one goes forward and they convict Turtle Boy. So that means that he will be guilty of witness intimidation in the Karen Reed case, right? Are they trying to figure out a way to declare some type of mistrial from that and try her a third time? Is that their end goal? I mean, I don't know. This is all new. This is this is not normal stuff. This is not I don't know anything about this. I wouldn't be able to tell you if that's even something that's I knew nothing about I've never been to Massachusetts. I like the Red Sox. I think they're pretty cool. You know, that's it. The Celtics. I love the Celtics. The floor. What is that? Madison Square Garden. They play. I don't know. I don't watch sports. I don't do anything. I do something. But for last while I've been predisposed and everything. So but anyway, yeah, that's just weird. So like I don't know. I mean, yes, I suppose you can get if it's illegal, it's illegal. I get that. And he can be convicted of something if he did it. But I just had this feeling like, is Massachusetts, are the prosecutors in this thing, are they trying to go for a full, like, some sort of mistrial and retry her again? I mean, I don't know. Just something that popped in my brain.
Now, they did bring in a special prosecutor.
Hey, big dog, what's up?
To take the Norfolk County DA's office off, but not the state police, which doesn't really solve the problem. It's the same cops he's going after. And then you see in some of the things that are, addressed in the letters, they've held his devices for over a year. Every lawyer who does this understands that, assuming it's otherwise legal, it was seized properly and searched properly, that any device can be imaged in the span of a couple of hours and returned, unless, of course, that device is in and of itself evidence. Not and in these cases, it wouldn't be. These are just phones. The phones themselves are not interesting. It's the content, perhaps, that is. And they've had a journalist's phones and devices for the better part of a year. There's source information. There could be stuff that the cops want to see. Why are they not releasing it, given that it's the same police that he's accused of intimidating that are coming after him? That raises questions. Even worse is, and this is all public, it's in the letter, this is no state secrets here. The argument that has been proffered repeatedly by the prosecution is that these devices have not yet been searched because we have to assemble a taint team to make sure we don't trample on privileged communications, which they opposed initially, by the way, which is bizarre. But nevertheless, the case in September was actually scheduled for early December, coming up in a few weeks, for the ostensible purpose of having a hearing about whether at this point the phones should even be allowed to be searched due to the prosecution's inactivity in holding them and not searching them for a year. Well, wouldn't you know, sometime after that court appearance, and this was the substance of one of these letters, come into information that his phone was actually extracted in October of 2023. And it was at the direction, or certainly the chain of events was started by the recused district attorney of Norfolk County, who had already hired a special prosecutor in an ex parte community.
Okay, wait a second. So, wait, the district attorney recused himself and hired a special prosecutor? What do you call Snoop Dogg in a hot air balloon? Higher than usual, says Bad Duck. I like that. It's a scary place to be. My heart breaks for A, and I admire how he stayed and put it. Yeah, I'd have moved out of there, right? So this is true. So he okay. So the original prosecutor says, nope, I'm out of here. He saw a snake. He saw a nope rope. Nope, I'm out of here. hires somebody on the taxpayer dime. Isn't that great? Massachusetts, man, they print money up there. They print money. Somebody's got to pay for it. So then they had, so this is a property thing. I don't know. So there's part of me, there's such a, there's, don't ever, how about this? This is my confliction. I want to tell you guys, don't voluntarily give your property to the police. I mean, I would never, excuse me, I'm not telling you to do this. I would never voluntarily give my property to the police. I have no footage of this event. Sorry, I don't have anything. There's nothing in my phone, stuff like that. Now I understand that Turboy, he didn't voluntarily give it, but the fact of it is that the reason why I would never do it. Do you guys remember the Las Vegas strip pew-pewing a few years ago? Stephen Paddock was the guy's name. So all these people, there were thousands of people down there. Thousands of people took video. And they took all that video to the police. And I said, here's my phone. You can have everything you want on it. I just want to help, right? Instead of sending the videos in, they turned them over. The police asked for everybody who had a cell phone in the vicinity to please turn them over to the police. They did that. It took them a year to get their phones back. And when they did, they had been erased. So everything they had on there, no matter what it was erased. That's a lot of personal property. As somebody who lives on their phone, like I don't even know how to make phone calls on my phone. I really don't. But I use it for everything else. My entire business, this is a business, right? My entire business is ran from that thing. Do you see why that phone? It's not like it's not a Obama phone or whatever they are. What are those things called? Cricket phone. It's not a cricket phone, I mean, these things are it's like someone coming in and taking your business. So they had his phone for a year. That's what it gets to. It just bothers me. I stop it when I hear things that bother me.
Communication on private email, his private iCloud email, contacting numerous court officials saying, do something about this guy, Turtle Boy, and these other people at the behest of the witnesses that he's accused of intimidating. I mean, they literally call the DA, call the state police and say, do something. And they did. And they launched an investigation into a court clerk who was accused of providing him information. And as part of that investigation, in the span of a few days, over a year ago, they extracted his phone. And here we are sitting here a year later, and we're being told we haven't looked at the phone and we can't give it back. I mean, this is just insane that prosecutors would do this. The chain of events was started by the recused district attorney of Norfolk County, who had already hired a special prosecutor, in an ex parte communication on private email, his private iCloud email, contacting numerous court officials saying, do something about this guy, Turtle Boy, and these other people at the behest of the witnesses that he's accused of intimidating. I mean, they literally call the DA, call the state police and say, do something. And they did. And they launched an investigation. A court clerk was accused of providing him information.
So the special prosecutor emailed the district attorney and said, do something about this on private email. There's no sunshine law violation here. They don't have sunshine in Massachusetts. What? Hey, AAA, how you doing? What? The state of Massachusetts, blink twice if you're there. You're being held against your will.
And as part of that investigation, in the span of a few days, over a year ago, they extracted his phone. And here we are sitting here a year later, and we're being told we haven't looked at the phone and we can't give it back. I mean, this is just insane that prosecutors would do this.
So, and for anybody that hates Aiden Carney, this is the perfect thing for you to sit and listen to, because when we talk about the American criminal justice system, you have to look at it in the way of, you know, who you think the worst of us is, right? And if some people think that about Aiden Carney, that's perfect, right? So the justice system should protect the worst of us if it's going to protect the best of us, right? So if you think I needed to protect me and my family and all this, and I don't want the cops to just be able to steamroll me if I disagree with them, that could happen one day. It might not be you, might not be this case, might not be now.
Yeah, he's right.
But it is Aiden Carney, and he's disagreeing with what the cops do. Guess what? Karen Reed still might be found guilty by a jury. Who knows?
Who
Aiden
cares?
Carney might be found guilty of this witness tampering stuff because, like you said, it is kind of a sticky statute. And it seems like one of those laws, which we both know, sometimes it catches people in a net that it might not have been initially written for. What were you going to say?
Just to follow up on the statute, and this only emboldens the First Amendment argument about a statute running amok, if you will, and being exploited by people. I'm sure you're familiar with this. The controversy of the day in the Canton area is that people are being rounded up and being charged with witness intimidation for leaving rubber duckies all around town, which say things about Free Karen Reed or this guy did it. And they are arresting people because witnesses in this case are saying, this is causing me emotional harm. And
the witness intimidation statute is clearly unconstitutional because it's too vague. It's too broad. Statutes are supposed to be written in a clear and concise way that a normal person can understand them. Okay. It is constitutionally invalid if it is something that is too vague and confusing. It doesn't make sense to what the intent of the legislature was when they passed the law. What's the deal with rubber ducks? I don't even know anything about them. I know Jeep people started doing the rubber duck thing like 5 years ago. That's weird to me. Okay. It's a guy whose family had Jeeps forever. Never saw a rubber duck till like 5 years ago. It's like, what? I think it has something to do with MK Ultra. I don't know. But and then that's witness intimidation because it's emotional to me. Like I see a rubber duck is emotional. You have a right to petition the government. That's also in the First Amendment. This is not a petition. I mean, a quasi petition. If you want to be specific about it, you know, I think it is. I think my verbiage is correct, but I mean, you know, maybe it's not. But still. Who's the first big TV trial anybody that you can see? Like, there's still movies made about and all this stuff. O.J. Simpson, right? People protested that all the time. That was 100 years ago. I don't know when O.J. was, like 50 years ago or something. What? I'm emotional. First of all, who has emotions? I mean, this is the law. There's no emotions. This isn't therapeutic jurisprudence. Okay. This is the law. This is granted. Lady Liberty in one hand holds a scale that is equal. And in the other hand, she holds a sword, a broadsword. She's not sitting there with a bouquet of flowers in the other hand.
And they're being arrested for expressing their viewpoint about Free Karen Reed. And, you know, some of the statements were that someone who was in the house allegedly committed the crime, which, of course, that's for the trial of Karen Reed, but should we be arresting people for expressing their view, whether we agree with it or disagree with it? So, and to your
even
point,
assholes can have a view.
You may not
I mean,
like
look at
Aiden Carney,
me.
you can do it to him, but now you're doing it to housewives around town. A local business owner, a 65-year-old man, never been in trouble in his life, who just leaves a couple rubber duckies around. They executed search warrants. They dumpster dived this man's garbage looking for evidence. They sent subpoenas all over the place. They filed a 36-page police report hunting down the architect of the duck scheme. These are the same people who, when John O'Keefe was found dead on Brian Albert's lawn, never even bothered to knock on the door and say, what the hell is going on here? Something is seriously wrong in Norfolk County with the state police and the DA's office.
Yeah, and I think that is an overarching issue, regardless of what crimes were committed by anybody else. That seems to be something that I'm pretty confident in. I don't know how much I'm confident with everything else, and I want to talk. There's so much I want to talk about with you, but a couple of things you mentioned. Number one, when you just said that, all that's going through my mind is dollar signs, time, resources, other crimes not being prosecuted that need to. That's one thing I think cameras in the courtroom and the attention these cases are getting is really like the YSL trial, the YNW Melly trial here in Florida, the YSL trials in Georgia, the Karen Reed trial there. All the money and time that's going into these retrials, these months and months and months, years, special prosecutors, paralegals, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and millions of taxpayer dollars are going to prosecuting people for rubber duckies at this point.
Can you imagine sending a police officer in the equivalent of a Tyvek suit to dumpster dive looking for evidence that this guy purchased rubber duckies? You have the Massachusetts State Police, not even the Canton Police. These are, the state police literally prosecuting individuals for littering.
I was dying listening to this.
I'm not kidding. They charge these people, amongst other things, with littering. Also disturbing.
Well, yeah, littering.
That's
funny. I was thinking that.
Who are getting charged with the rubber duck stuff. The people complaining, who are the witnesses in the Karen Reed case, the witnesses who were intimidated by Aiden Carney, it's like they have a bat phone to the state police and the DA. So when it came to the rubber duck stuff, these people, they're not calling the Canton police. They're calling the state police saying, I'm being intimidated. One of the things you saw referenced in one of the letters I wrote about when we learned about the extraction report, about the phone records, that whole process started from the same witness and another witness reaching out to the state police and telling the DA, what's going on? Do something. John Q. Citizen should have as much direct access to the Massachusetts State Police and the Norfolk County DA's office to get justice that way. It doesn't happen. The only people who are being arrested, by the way, in Norfolk County for witness intimidation and causing emotional harm are people who are supportive of Karen Reed, which is very interesting because if you look at a lot of the nonsense online, you will see people running up to Karen Reed, screaming at her, accusing her of lying, being a murderer, having an affair. Under the statute, that's witness intimidation. She is a potential witness, a party in the case. She could be caused emotional harm, but none of these people are being harassed. You had people online even tweeting that Karen Reed is going to get killed.
Did I hear that
she
right?
Should watch herself.
A potential. Someone who could be a potential. I can't speak. A potential juror. I mean, if they're prosecuting people for that, that's everybody in the state. Oh my gosh. On a first name basis. There are vicious letters sent through the mail to people who support Karen. Who from? Do we know that? I do not know what that is. You talking about the singer Morrissey? Right? I don't know.
Things to that effect. This is clear.
By the way, I love that Bettero here. He's got Better Call Saul. Okay. And he has at least 2 books on Churchill back here. Oh, he has a book on Lincoln too.
Cut witness intimidation under the Massachusetts statute, but nobody's getting prosecuted. It's viewpoint discrimination, which is another problem with the way this statute is being applied. That's not going to do it. But if you litter a rubber duck that says free Karen Reed, within 100 yards of a pizza shop in Canton, you're screwed.
Yeah. And that's literally the worst thing I can hear. I didn't know these details to this effect. And it's the worst thing you can hear in today's world, today's day and age. Like, we're spreading farther apart. We're weaponizing things against each other. One viewpoint being punished and prosecuted. It's like, that's just not how it's supposed to be. Whether you agree with it or not, we got to be able to deal with this stuff and talk about this stuff. And I'm literally having to take notes because there's so many things I want to continue to discuss with you.
I should be taking notes.
That's so we both prosecuted cases and made charging decisions, right? I assume you made charging decisions whether or not you're going to charge this case or not.
Is there a certain color of duck? Are they bad ducks? We got bad ducks over here.
In Florida, when I was a young prosecutor, marijuana was kind of on the way out. We never prosecuted anymore. It's like they were smoking a joint outside the gas station. We're not going forward on that, because I tried one case, and every juror in jury selection, when I said, who thinks marijuana should be legal, every single one raised their hands. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So we know that's just not how it works. So this is not about Karen Reed. The rubber duckies, all of that, that is about protecting law enforcement and the DA's office reputation, the way they look in the community. You're doing nothing to convict Karen Reed if you're the DA or law enforcement, in my opinion, by prosecuting people about rubber duckies.
You're right, but part of and I agree with everything you just said, but just to add another pebble to the scale on how awful this is, the very people that are running around town, at least in some of these cases, who are looking to make these arrests and doing this, are the people who are being criticized by people like Aidan Carney and others who are leaving rubber duckies as saying, we believe you're corrupt. And the people that are being accused of corruption are the ones that are arresting them for rubber ducks and littering. Now, you can make an argument that, could that thing have happened in a, Kafka novel? Sure. In an Orwell novel? Yes. In Mao's China? Sure. Stalin's Soviet Union? Sure. Suburban Boston in 2024? It's outrageous. I mean, we have a firewall here. It's the First Amendment. It ought to protect this stuff from not happening.
And the way you just explained it there made me think of my world a little bit more. I'm a civil plaintiffs litigator, trial lawyer. That would be like, I'm suing you, Mark, for something, and you saying you need to get arrested for witness intimidation because you're intimidating me by accusing me of doing something wrong. That's what it sounds like.
It is so bad. And you have so many people who jump onto this online, whatever side of this they're on. You actually have people who will threaten others and say, you're all going to get sued for defamation or arrested for witness intimidation if you criticize, the Massachusetts State Police and call them liars. I mean, that's an actual tweet by somebody whose name is not important from several weeks ago. And you sit there and you look at that and you say, it's amazing that in 2024, any American citizen could actually believe with a straight face that if you don't fall in line and if you criticize law enforcement, for which there's a lot of evidence and a lot of reason to criticize, certainly in this case, that you could be subject to a defamation suit or potential arrest. I mean, Jesus.
So I think as I, hear what's going on, and again, I don't know all the facts of what Aidan Carney's doing or what he's saying or where he's showing up places or if he's really making threats against people. I don't know that to be a fact one way or the other. But to me, if you were going to arrest or charge somebody with something like that, it would be harassment or stalking or something like that, not witness intimidation. And that's a little bit weird. And again, in your letters, you talk about the curious timing of when people became witnesses to when the witness intimidation charge comes down.
Yeah, in the other case, I mean, this is really disturbing. So they concluded a grand jury in which they indicted Aidan for all of these counts of witness intimidation from this rolling rally and whatnot. And I believe the date was December 20th. If it's off, it's in the letter. The key here is the grand jury was concluded. It's over. And he ends up getting arraigned on the indictment the next couple of days. I mean, having put many cases in the grand jury earlier in my career, you vote it out. Unless you leave it open, it's concluded. And they arraigned him a couple of days later. The grand jury proceeding was over. That same day or days thereafter, they served a person with a grand jury subpoena. There was no grand jury proceeding pending. And there was nothing for this witness to testify about because the grand jury was over. And without getting too much into the facts of the case, I mean, this is contested highly, obviously, but he ended up going over to this individual's house, and she had showed him the subpoena. Some would say, use it as a tractor beam, if you will, to kind of come over, and use other things potentially to entice him to come over. And now you've been served with a subpoena, even though there's no grand jury proceeding. In the eyes of the special prosecutor, you're a witness. And, cue up the dramatic music. Here comes the Massachusetts witness intimidation statute. You are a protected class. So now let's go for the emotional harm. And, there's an allegation that all kinds of things happened that night. We argued, you allege things, we oppose those things, but nevertheless, I feel intimidated. I suffered harm. So what happens? He ends up getting arrested, and he gets his bail revoked on the first case. He ends up going to jail.
Okay, so grand juries have a weird makeup. Okay, they're a holdover from common law, and yeah, I guess they have their place. They're the rules of them are weird. Usually, you always get someone gets thrown, held over to court. Okay. I can see this person being subpoenaed that makes them a witness. But they're saying that then Turtle Boy went over to this person's house. Is that right? Afterwards? Because of that. Hey, Lefty, how you doing? What's the big thing that's happening tonight? I saw you put that up. And I also saw your fight with Baker. I didn't realize. We'll talk later about that. But anyway, okay, so he went over there. All right, thank you, Mel Mac. So he was invited over. But you can't have a fake grand jury, J7. I mean, it's either you have a grand jury or you don't. You guys see where I'm coming from, right? This doesn't make sense. You can't have a fake. You can't do that, man. If you do that, here's the thing. The court is the most precious thing next to church in this country. It's the last place where you get to stand up there as a man and your words are heard, and you get to testify on your own behalf. It's protected. Over 1 million soldiers, Army, Navy, Air Force, everything, over the time for this country's founding to today, have died to protect that right, to protect our court system. It's precious. Nowhere else in the world has this. Do you know why America's the #1 economy in the world? Because of our legal system. Because we respect it. We're not some banana republic. We're not out here, smoking banana peels and saying kumbaya and all this other stuff. We're a nation of laws. We respect our laws. When we stop, that's when there's no hope. There's no future. There's no other lighthouse in the world for people like you and me to go to. That's why we have to fight so hard for what we have. And that's what's so upsetting about what I'm worrying about this place, about what's happening here. And all I can do is just sit here and just bitch because, well, I'm an expert at bitching. So
60 days for someone who's never been in jail in their life. And, it's fascinating because maybe less so in Florida than places like New York and Massachusetts.
Can't wait.
But there is a huge movement that is, disfavors bail or disfavors incarceration without a conviction for a serious crime. But in Massachusetts, in this situation, you have an indictment, there's an allegation of another crime, 60 days remand. I mean, and Massachusetts is supposed to be a pretty woke place from a criminal justice standpoint. It's not.
That's pretty wild when you think about, you know, there have been other cases we've seen where people are out on bail or on their own recognizance when they're accused or have a criminal past of violent crimes, and people are like, how does this happen? And then something like that happens. It's really, sometimes it really seems backwards. So this is kind of off the wall. It just popped into my head, but
I like this guy.
Karen Reed and Aiden Carney, they were trying to indict them for conspiracy for witness intimidation, and then they came back with no indictment. Was that after?
That's why I'm here.
Now you have information that they've searched his phone. Do you know if that timeline?
Yeah, well, this is actually quite crazy.
Send it to me, Mel Mac.
As I said, they did.
Yeah, the best way to send me something right now is on X.
Search Aiden's phone, even though they said they didn't. And we know that now in real time from the extraction report. And you also know from one of the filings that one of the state police troopers testified about looking through his phone. Remember, we're being told we didn't search the phone. This guy's testifying in a grand jury what's on the phone. I mean, there's kind of a small problem here. But they
said hi.
Interview witnesses who, because, you know, Aiden Carney and Karen Reed talk to each other regularly back in time. I mean, that's not really in dispute. That's pretty obvious that somehow, you know, they must have conspired to commit witness intimidation. So they did present that to a grand jury, and the timing of it is really troubling. So that grand jury was in March of 23. If you recall, her trial started, or 24, whatever it was, this year. That trial started in April. If she gets indicted in March of 24, there's a couple of really problematic things that are going to happen. Number one, that's going to be front page national news that these two were indicted for conspiracy. The jury pool that's going to get hauled out next month, it's impossible not to know this.
Yeah, I got to take a minute here and thank J7. She reached out to me. She sent me like this video. A lot of you have reached out to me, and I appreciate it. And she said, look, I know your brain. I can tell. We share a stem, and you need to understand it without getting overwhelmed with everything. Start with this video, and that's why we're here right now. And so I appreciate this. She says, no micro dots. I thought it was micro dits, DITS. So the only dits here is me, but I appreciate you, J Walsh. Did I say it right? J7's my preferred name for you, even though Baker copied me.
Number two, I mean, you know what they're going to do. They're going to try to revoke her bond. They're going to try to throw her in jail and presumably try to coerce a plea. That's my words, not their words, by using the power of incarceration to make her say, how do I shorten that? So it ends up getting no bill, okay? No indictment for the non-lawyers. The grand jury refuses to indict, and all that requires is probable cause. I mean, that's the ham sandwich. That comes from New York. Saul Walkler, from, you know, former chief judge of the New York Court of Appeals, is the one who said a grand jury would indict a ham sandwich if a prosecutor asked it to. They didn't do it. They missed 2 ham sandwiches here. So they didn't do that. Now, during Karen Reed's trial, a few months later, the prosecution filed a motion to exclude Aiden from the courtroom, okay? This is after the grand jury has already no-billed the attempt to indict Karen Reed and Aiden Carney. Now, admittedly, it was a special prosecutor, the same one who had gone after Aiden, who put that in the grand jury. But I think we can all agree that it is literally impossible that the Norfolk DA's office was not aware that their murder defendant was the target of a grand jury investigation 1 month before the trial. Okay, so knowing
Karen
that she
was
had not been indicted and that the grand jury didn't even find probable cause,
they're trying to say that Karen did witness intimidation
to exclude him from the courtroom, and basically use this very crafty language So you run into another example of what prosecutor who has a duty of, candor to the
I'm
court,
not a drama
and
person.
certainly a duty to accurately
I'm
portray
start
all
calling you
material
Lulu.
facts to
Lulu,
the
I don't
court
do
in
drama.
seeking an application, would say that
Multipass.
without saying, oh, by the way, a grand jury threw this out, didn't even find probable cause. The
Multipass.
way that this case has been handled has been just underhanded throughout.
So, and I didn't want to interrupt you when you said it, but if they would have indicted Karen Reed for conspiracy to commit witness intimidation and any monicum of that came out in the trial, you're basically cooked. Like any case we've ever watched where anything, whether you were trying to flee, whether you were showing any consciousness of guilt, whether you were intimidating a witness, it's like automatic. You're done at that point. It's like you're done. Why wouldn't you do that?
You're
if
guilty
you were not guilty,
usually.
You would never do
I mean,
something
it's just.
like that,
I mean,
right?
They tried to introduce
just looked at
evidence at her case that Karen Reed, after she became aware that she was in the crosshairs, called a lawyer. And the DA, with a straight face, said this is appropriate. Like the jury should hear this. I mean, welcome to Norfolk County. That's how they do
you're
business.
supposed to
They
call
think
a
the jury
lawyer.
should hear that.
If the government
tried
thinks
to
you did
argue
something, call a
that
lawyer.
after the alleged crime occurred, Karen Reed ended up driving home to her parents' house, who she has an extraordinarily close relationship with. I mean, whether you think she's guilty or innocent, bad things have happened, okay? She went to see her parents. The Norfolk DA in that case, when they had a charge conference, was trying to argue with a straight face that that deserves a consciousness of guilt charge, that evidence, that the court should consider because a woman in distress, guilty or innocent, went home to see her parents, that somehow was some form of flight and consciousness of guilt.
Yeah, I
You're
remember
guilty
that
because you went
vividly,
to see your mom and
the
dad.
part about her searching
Holy
for the lawyer.
jeez.
I mean, there were a couple things that it was like, I don't understand how a lawyer can make these kinds of arguments. And that's what was so frustrating about the case. And, maybe even colored part of it for me as a lawyer, where the facts maybe were harder to follow because I just stopped believing some of the prosecutor's arguments because of what they were showing throughout the trial and outside the presence of the jury a lot. It was just, I couldn't believe it.
Well,
I'm with this guy 100%. Oh my gosh. Like you guys know how much fun I had going into Broken Bakers? And I'd be going in there be like, she did it. I heard she got convicted today. Or just whatever I could just to mess with them. Because he had Mo with him, he had Valhalla with him. Just love messing, because I'm like, I'm not following this. This is what? This doesn't make sense. Dude, Hair's over here. Is that what we call him now, chat? What did you guys keep calling him? I forgot. Peter Hare? I don't think we're going to call him Peter Hare. I'm going to hit play now and stop talking.
Heard about, the term zombie prosecutors. And what I mean by that is people like you and me, if you wanted to try to introduce evidence of Karen Reed calling a lawyer, you may personally say, well, wait a minute, that's interesting. But then you go into lawyer mode and you say, you know what, I actually value my credibility in the eyes of the court and the parties. And I'm not doing that. That's a deterrent to me. When she went to her parents' house, maybe I could convince the jury that she's fleeing. And then you go into lawyer mode and you say, that's really ridiculous and stupid. And I value my integrity and credibility too much that I'm not going to do that. But if you're a zombie, you just don't care. You'll say anything, you'll make any point, and you'll just keep coming. And you can push them back, and they just keep coming. And I think, unfortunately, what you see in this DA's office far too frequently is that they're willing to make these arguments that are just absurd or legally improper again and again and again, and they'll just keep coming at you, and which is where the zombie term comes.
Yeah, a lot of people will probably think this is rich coming from a couple of criminal defense lawyers and personal injury lawyers, but there are so many, and I've said this a million times, there are so many opportunities, I feel like more as a lawyer than any other profession, to lie to get ahead, to lie to win, to lie to make more money. I mean, I've had so many opportunities cross the road, whatever you call a fork in the road moment, where it's like, I just lie to this adjuster, I know I can get more money. If I just lie about this, I can get more money. If I lie about this, I might win the case. you got to make that decision early on to stay as far away from that line as you possibly can.
Yeah,
or
you
you
do.
can fall into it, because we're all, most of us are competitive. If you're a trial lawyer, if you're a litigator, you're most of the time competitive. You want to win. You remember your wins. You remember your losses even more. You want people to talk about how great you are and your results and et cetera, et cetera. It can become a very difficult position if you haven't already made the decision before you get to that point. You have to make the decision before you're faced with the decision.
See you,
I
Purple
agree.
Jesus,
and
man.
I also think people that are value their
Appreciate you.
credibility, integrity,
Did
and
you
are,
see Valhalla
what we
ripped your
also
hand
call
off the
real
other day?
lawyers, they also see the big board and the long game, which
Mhm.
is your only stock and trade to be a successful lawyer throughout the course of your career is your credibility. I mean, that's your asset, number one.
Yeah,
I mean,
oh,
assuming you have
100%.
minimal
Yeah,
competency,
credibility.
skills, support, but you need to be credible. And if you
Yeah, you
develop a
have to.
reputation as a little shady, or you get yourself in trouble, then you veer down a path, and you don't have that, and that's going to harm you. So, they're doing.
Let me tell you guys, there is not a smaller community. There's not a tighter sewing circle of gossip and drama than the legal community. My gosh, you want to fall into, if you you want to be into gossip stuff, just sit around a courthouse. Just sit around a courthouse all day. You'll hear everything. And what you hear though is, yes, that guy, he's a good attorney. I trust him. I'd let him handle this for me. When you hear one's like, I don't know how you gonna see him. You don't want that reputation.
Things in this. I mean, another example of what they did in the Karen Reed case, which is just so profoundly troubling, is when the federal government dumped 3,000 pages on both sides about a month out of trial, and said we have to disclose this in order to feel like this is a fair process, even though we're not involved. Which, by the way, should be a red flag of red flags for the prosecutor to say, maybe I should take a deep breath and reevaluate what I'm doing here. But nevertheless, in those pages, that's where all the Proctor text messages came out, and not just the nasty misogynist ones.
What the feds do?
The bullying the medical examiner, trying to influence her, other stuff like that. I wish she would kill herself. That's where all the other evidence of the so-called butt dials came out at a really strange time, right before the alleged Google search. It's where the ARCA evidence, those very distinguished accident reconstruction guys that were hired by the feds, concluded that, in our view, the injuries to John O'Keefe don't match the car, and vice versa. Ergo, ipso facto, I mean, that's the most classic exculpatory evidence that a lawyer could possess. You have an independent expert with 27 degrees that go on and on at the highest level, saying the DA's theory makes no sense scientifically. I mean, I'm paraphrasing.
I'll tell you guys, as an expert with several degrees, self-proclaimed expert with several degrees. I walked behind a what are those things called? The Land Cruiser, the Lexus version of it. One day I saw one in a park. I was like, hey, that's the car that Karen Reed drove. And I walked behind it. And what's the guy who died? John? Is that his name? And he's 6 feet. Well, I'm 6'1". According to Roseman Ranch, I'm 6'3". I'm a little over 6'1". The injuries wouldn't have matched up on me. It's weird. I was like, they just don't match up. I'm just walking by. I was like, oh, there's no way. There's no way. And I don't have I mean, look, all I did was I just wanted to troll on my friends while they're doing the trial. I don't care. I didn't know anything about this. But I did walk by. I was like, oh, yeah, there's no way that happened.
And so they're arguing about this material. And of course, the defense is jumping up and down saying, we need an adjournment because there's a lot here. And a lot of it is
exculpatory. King Bob, thank you so much.
The prosecutor gets
be hanging around
with a straight face and says, I've reviewed all the materials, which is questionable at best, given that it was 3,000 in a week, but says virtually none of it is exculpatory.
I like chasing white rabbits.
In fact, the exact opposite true. Virtually all of it is entirely exculpatory, and exculpatory at the highest level, like that ARCA report we're talking about, and all these text messages and butt dials and deleted this and that. And they're telling the court with a straight face, there's nothing to see here. And if you're willing to make that representation when it's so patently false, I mean, what else are you willing to do?
Yeah, I mean, the ARCA experts to me was such a wild twist in the trial. I expect them to be good for the defense. I didn't quite expect them to testify in that manner, because once I heard that, that's when I kind of, and again, there were jurors on this panel that were voting guilty for some lesser charge. I get it. I know that that is a fact. That's not the question I have in my head. The question I had in my head when people were asking me is, I don't think I could continue to prosecute the case once I read the report from the FBI experts, like the people the FBI. Now, if it's just the other side that hired these experts, that doesn't really bother me. I can keep going forward. I can trust my experts. But in that situation, it really would have been tough.
Tammy, how you doing?
And then let me take it a step further. There's one case in my career that I was like the second case I ever tried as a prosecutor. It was some stupid, it was loitering and prowling misdemeanor, okay, that nobody else in the office wanted to try. I was like, I don't really know if this makes sense. I went forward, tried the case, got the guilty verdict, and then they appealed it, and they ended up winning the appeal because it just didn't fit. And I looked at myself and I was like, just because you can win doesn't mean you should prosecute these cases. And prosecutors do cases all the time that they shouldn't win, because most of the people show up and they're like, the cops think that guy did it. The prosecutors think that guy did it. It seems like the judge thinks that guy did it. So who am I? I'm not an expert. Sure, guilty. That's how most people walk into trials.
I agree.
Oh, it's so true. He's 100% correct on that. So like, that's the thing that people like. I hate expert testimony. So that's part of the name, is because what makes you an expert? Well, anybody is. If you get paid for it, you're an expert. That's the fact. So what you got to do is you got to convince the jury that your expert is better than their expert. And in truth, the reality of it is, I think it's just a waste of money. I think it's a waste of money and time. I think that the evidence should be so clear that you don't need an expert testimony. And when he's talked about having prosecutors should not try a case just to win, 1,000%, he is correct on that. But people look at the prosecutor's office because it is a government office. Okay, you get a steady paycheck. It's good. You know, they'll go in there, they pay off their loans or whatever, and then they jump. And then what do they go to? They go to criminal defense. They know all the judges. They know all the tricks of the prosecutor's office. They know all that stuff. So it's I don't know. It's just a weird thing. How do you instill moral fortitude? That's the hard thing. Moral fortitude. We don't have enough people with values. We need to promote values instead of demean them. Sorry, I'm going to get off my soapbox now.
So this is crazy for a couple of reasons, where you say, I can't believe
couple of reasons
when you see the ARCA stuff. That's, for me, that's where I kind of, I'm out. I mean, I would even give them a benefit of doubt before they get to that point. How do you not, as a good faith prosecutor, tasked with seeking justice, not convictions, as they used to drill into our head in the Manhattan DA's office, under Robert Morgenthau, you don't seek convictions, you seek justice.
Right.
And, to that point, when you were a brand new ADA in Manhattan 100 years ago, as part of your training, one of the very first things that they would do is drop us off at Rikers Island and just say, take a look.
Oh.
This is, take a look. Tough guy at 24 years old, think you have it all. This is where you're sending people, and take note of that.
What do you about Rikers? T42.
How do you not, at a minimum, if you're acting in good faith, take a deep breath, take a step back, gather the best people you can in that office, close the office door, and say, we gotta flesh this out. This really challenges everything, and this puts in a new light. Maybe those Proctor techs and the taillight that they claim they found over the course of weeks.
A lot of people have been on Megyn
start
Kelly
to question things, because what I would be doing is saying, if these experts are saying that this can't be, okay, then what that is telling you is something else. It's telling you that the taillight didn't get on the lawn naturally. It would have had to have been unnaturally. And if it's unnaturally, that means human being. And now you start getting to, oh my God, here comes the Proctor stuff. Is this possible? Could this be? And they didn't even pause. They didn't even take the time. But then you say, and these are from the FBI. Here's the other problem. this is how ridiculous this all is. The FBI was investigating Michael Morrissey and some of the people in this case. And of course, Morrissey was writing letters to DOJ and, OPR, the Office of Professional Responsibility in DC, saying, get these Massachusetts feds off my back. And of course, the response from OPR was, we're good, thanks. We'll continue to do what we're doing. So another potential conflict in all of this. And they just keep going. The biggest tool a prosecutor has is discretion, like you said, when to prosecute, when not to. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And they had tunnel vision from the jump. They never wanted to look down another path, and they just kept going and going, even when they got all of this evidence from the feds. And it tells you look at them now. They're trying to salvage the murder charges, which is based upon jealousy in Aruba a couple of weeks before an alleged homicide, which means, so she decided at that moment, because of that, I'm just going to, mow him down in front of a house. I know there's a house full of people there. I don't know who's watching across the street. So I'm going to just kill him or try to maim him right here and then. This doesn't make any sense. I mean, just as a lawyer prosecuting the case, there were so many red flags and so many off ramps. And they just refused to do it, such to the point when they retry the case, they use tax dollars to bring in a ringer.
All right, this is the most replay coming up.
Right? There's no conflict here. They didn't kick off the Norfolk DA's office saying we have a conflict. They said, no, we need somebody at taxpayer expense, which is scandalous in and of itself, because apparently, according to Vanity Fair anyway, no one in this office is willing to prosecute, or the only other alternative is nobody's capable. And in any other DA's office, if nobody's willing to prosecute, what's going to happen. You have to have an intervention with the guy who's the shot caller, which in this case would be Michael Morrissey. And ultimately, any DA in this country in any other office would say, we can't go forward. And his response is, no, I know what to do. I'm going to get more tax money and bring in an outsider because you people won't do it. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's
Danbury Sports Highlights.
As far as the light goes, I think the expert said it could have been from him throwing the glass or throwing something at it and breaking it. So from my perspective as a prosecutor, once they testify to a reasonable degree of scientific probability that it couldn't have hit a person, I'm like, I got to get beyond a reasonable doubt. Like, I'm not trying to prove greater weight of the evidence. I got to get beyond a reasonable doubt. And I don't know how it broke at that point. I'm not going to prove that my officer planted it, but
you just put your finger on it and a line, not that I'm a believer in canned lines, because I'm not. I believe free-flowing, natural. But one of the lines that will reappear again and again, certainly in my defense summations, or at least in my brain as I'm formulating how to do this, is that if you are the party with a burden of proof, and which is the prosecution, obviously, and you are the one speculating about what could be, what may be, you're toast. And more importantly, if to your mind, if you're thinking about that internally, not trying to convince a jury, but as a prosecutor that you can't overcome that, ethically, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah,
that's true.
And
so wait, hold on. Is the rest of this questions on Karen Reed? Yeah, but proving a cover up. Is that the Karen Reed? So is the rest of this? The rest of this is all Karen Reed stuff, isn't it? So all right, it's right in there. All right. So is that it then? Is that the? Tammy, there's a squirrel. Where? The Morrissey video? You would send me something that's going to be hard for me to pull over here. Let's see here. Of course not. And all right, hang on. All right, sorry here. All right, hang on. All right, so this is the district attorney condemns harassment of witness in Karen Reed murder case. Wait, where am I here? Sorry, y'all. Sorry, my brain kind of went on vacation. It ended. There's so much better lays out legal basics really well. Yes, very true. And yes, and thank you. I do have that up. I'll pull that up here in a second. Real quick. Let's see. Wait, what? You sent the hostage video? The hostage video? Yeah, you guys realize I don't know anything that's happening here. I don't know any of this stuff. If you guys knew how my brain is popping right now, okay, I'll tell you, guys. Let me tell you. So, being an attorney is easy. Because you have one subject, you have a firm, you have a support group, you have all other stuff. Law school is like boot camp. Okay. And that came from a friend of mine. We were in constitutional law and we had a break. I went outside. I'm standing there. And I just looked up at the stars, And he came up. Didn't even know him before then. We became best friends after this. And I was like, I should have joined the Marine Corps. I think it would have been easier. At least there, I'd been yelled at if I did something. I wouldn't know what I did wrong. And he said, he laughed. He goes, hey, well, you know what? This is kind of like the Marines. He's like, the Marines, they break you down and they build you back up into who they want you to be, what they want you to be. They do the same thing in law school. They just do it with your brain. And that hurt so bad when he said that because it's true. You realize you never think the same. You never act the same. Everything's different. So my normal life is not in a law firm. I don't have my walls of my barriers up all the time. So when I hear this stuff, I'm like, man, holy cow, man, my brain's popping. It's going, oh my gosh, dude, it aggravates me. Then I'm like, why am I aggravated? You got to realize my brain, the little squirrels on the tightrope right now. If I could paint a picture for you of what they're doing, it's fabulous. It's fabulous. Well, I messed that up too. Yeah, I will play the video. Give me 1 second. Yes, build you up as a team to function together. And it's weird. All right, so hang on real quick. We're going to go to this video. Hold on, but before I do, before I forget this, you guys were talking about rubber ducks, okay? Remember the rubber duck conversation? Is this the rubber duck right here? Is this the rubber duck everybody's throwing around Canton? Because if it's not, it should be. And I want one of these. Look at this. It's a turtle duck. Turtle duck. All right, let's see here. Let me go over here to. I'm going to share this tab instead. Whoops, wrong one. Sorry. And we go back up here. Go to your corner, Dumbo. All right. And we go here and go click.
This will be the first statement of its kind in my dozen years as Norfolk District Attorney. The harassment of witnesses in the murder prosecution of Karen Reed is absolutely baseless. It should be an outrage to any decent person, and it needs to stop. Innuendo is not evidence. False narratives are not evidence. However, what evidence does show is that John O'Keefe never entered the home at 34 Fairview Road in Canton the night he died. Location data from his phone, recovered from the lawn beneath his body when he was transported to the hospital, shows that this phone did not enter that home.
Wow. 11
people have given statements that they did not see John O'Keefe enter the home at 34 Fairview that night. 0 people have said that they saw him enter the home. 0. No one. Some have, without any evidence, pointed to 18-year-old Colin Albert, a nephew of the homeowner, and accused him of attacking John O'Keefe as he entered the home. But phone evidence shows O'Keefe never entered the home at all. Testimony from witnesses tell us that 18-year-old Colin Albert had left his uncle's home before John O'Keefe and Karen Reed had arrived outside the residence. There was no fight inside that home. John O'Keefe did not enter the home. Colin Albert, the young man being vilified, was not present when Reed's vehicle and John O'Keefe arrived on the street. This is a false narrative. Colin Albert didn't commit murder. Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Brian Albert. These people were not part of a conspiracy and certainly did not commit murder or any crime that night. They have been forthcoming with authority, providing statements, and have not engaged in any cover-up. They are not suspects in any crime. They are merely witnesses in the case. To have them accused of murder is outrageous. To have them harassed and intimidated based on false narratives and accusations is wrong.
Okay, wait a second. I don't know
They are
who this guy
witnesses
is.
doing what our justice system asks them.
Okay, so what is this guy again? Hold on here. So this was the original prosecutor, right? And I'm gonna have to go back and watch this again later. So this is the guy that hired the special prosecutor. Is that correct?
Them. The autopsy of John O'Keefe was conducted by a forensic pathologist from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. The doctor found that the injuries that left John helpless in the cold were not a result of a fight. She further found that the line of abrasions on his arm was consistent with blunt trauma, not an animal attack.
Now, I will say, I know of a case near me where a guy was acquitted of murder. Okay, I mean, there's no trial because they said there's no evidence that he murdered somebody. 4 years later, because the family's just convinced he did it, they dug up the body. The prosecutors dug up the body, and they did another autopsy on him. This time they said that the autopsy results showed that she was murdered. This was the only person that could have done it, so they took him to trial and all this stuff. He got convicted. He appealed it. In the Tennessee Court of Appeals, they gave a blistering opinion to the prosecutor and said, at no point did you think it looked like you may have a conflict of interest when the forensics doctor that did the original autopsy was also your expert witness doctor that did the second autopsy and conflicted in their own opinion? The guy that was convicted is now walking free. But government, man, they got that power. What I learned from that case was that you should have he should have cremated her. But I mean, who am I? I mean, that's,
A grand jury of everyday citizens heard the documented evidence and testimony before making a decision. The subject of that murder indictment enjoys the constitutional presumption of innocence. Why should the witnesses who have committed no crime be afforded less by members of the community? They should not be harassed for telling the government what they heard or saw. I'm asking the Canton community and everyone who feels invested in this case to hear all the actual evidence at trial before assigning guilt to people who have done nothing wrong. And certainly before taking it upon yourself to harass citizens who evidence shows have done nothing in this matter but come forward and bear witness. We try people in the court and not on the internet for a reason. The internet has no rules of evidence. The internet has no punishment for perjury. And the internet does not know all the facts.
No,
Conspiracy theories are not evidence.
Yeah, that was dumb
The
to say
idea that
that.
multiple police department, EMTs, fire personnel, the medical examiner, and prosecuting agencies are joined in or taken in by a vast conspiracy should be seen for what it is, completely contrary to the evidence and a desperate attempt to reassign guilt. Michael Proctor, the state police trooper, being accused of planting evidence outside 34 Fairview Road, was never at Fairview Road on the day of the incident. Proctor and his state police partner traveled together the entire day while other officers were processing 34 Fairview. Trooper Proctor was not there and did not plant evidence at 34 Fairview Road. In addition to having no opportunity to plant the evidence, as has been suggested, Proctor would have no motive to do so. Trooper Proctor had no close personal relationship with any of the parties involved in the investigation and had no conflict.
Now, who's Proctor again? See, I didn't watch the trial, y'all. Like, I don't know that, any of this stuff. Let me ask you this. This is what I care about. During the time frame of this case, when was this video put out? Was it put out after the case was over? Because if it wasn't put out after the case was over, it makes me feel intimidated. Get where I'm going? Before the first trial, I feel intimidated. And I'm watching this now. He said that the internet has no facts and all this other stuff. He's talking about me. He's talking about you. What if we were a witness to something? I would feel intimidated, I think. I may feel intimidated. I don't lie, okay? I don't tell lies. You know why? Because just tell the truth and get it over with. Like, what have I done? I don't intentionally. I do a lot of stupid stuff, y'all. A lot of stupid stuff. But I'm not going to lie, okay? Because I can't keep up with it. I mean, I'm not smart enough to lie. I really am not. Like, I'll do something stupid. Yeah, and I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. I don't mean to, okay? But I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit there and, untruths or try to bend the truth or just flat out tell you the things. Like, look, what's the worst going to happen? You guys got to know me. Like, I wouldn't do anything to wreck you emotionally. I mean, if you do something that's wrong, I'm going to tell you you're wrong, But the problem with lies is that they have to be 100% all the time. This guy here is making me feel sad. Sad for my friend Liberty.
And he had no reason to step out of this investigation. Every suggestion to the contrary is a lie. This should be seen for what it is, and not used as a pretext to attack and harass others. What's happening to the witnesses, some with no actual involvement in the case.
I'm sorry. Holy. You guys ever heard the term? First of all, that got me. Oh gosh, that gave me hiccups. That was a live reaction right there. It took everything I had not to spew Diet Coke all over the place. Holy cow. However, I'm not okay. That hurt. Oh my gosh, that hurt. I'm still Like, I'm gonna be burping and hiccuping all night. Did you see how he said it's a lie? He looked right in the camera to use the words "it's a lie." Now, if I was a poker player, I'm not. If I play poker, I'd make more money than I wouldn't be on YouTube. I'm kidding. I never gamble with my money, only my life. I I totally did joke. Because I wanted to start laughing. Because he looks right at the camera and says, "That's a lie." That was a poker face move, man. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Sorry, y'all. I don't. What? Where are we? What time is it? Sydney, Happy New Year's, everybody!
Is wrong. It is contrary to the American values of fairness and the constitutional value of a fair trial. It needs to stop now. I am releasing this recorded statement rather than holding a news conference because my remarks need to be so narrowly tailored to the issue at hand while the prosecution is pending in Superior Court. But the message is the same. What is happening to these innocent people, these witnesses, is wrong and it needs to stop.
That's intimidation, dude. That's I'm gonna save that for later. Wow. Oh, hey. Oh, Happy New Year's. Are you gonna go do anything? You need to go take some pictures of that big bridge thing. Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying now. Ray from Boston. Ray, are you related to Belle from Beauty and the Beast? By any chance? Anyway, yes, that does make sense. Holy cow. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had the fortune of going to Philadelphia and going to go to Independence Hall. This is where the founders of the American Constitution, our country, signed the Declaration of Independence. In case you guys haven't figured it out, I have a tendency to ask questions, to talk to people. Never know a stranger. So I started talking to one of the park rangers, started asking questions. And one of the questions I always ask, I like to ask questions I think that people probably don't ask others, right? And my question to him was, what is your favorite part of this tour? What is your favorite part about Independence Hall? This wonderful experience we're sitting here, so we're standing here looking at the place where John Hancock walked up and he said, "By God, I want King George to be able to see my name from across the room." And the park ranger. So here, let me show you over here. This is the court. It's where they held court at. So you look over in this little tiny little courtroom, right? It doesn't look all that different from ours. And this is before I got into law school and all that, And anyway, he said, "Do you notice anything? Anything about this room striking to you?" I said, "It's small. It doesn't look like it holds a lot of crowd, right?" He said, "You see that up there on the front? Next, you have the witness stand, and you had the jury box. Then you had this little podium with wrought iron bars around it, about waist high. He said that's where the accused, if you were accused of committing a crime against the crown, that's where you stood during your trial. So imagine, since we're talking about Karen, Karen's world here, imagine Karen Reed having to stand up in front of the jury for 8 hours a day. You can't sit down. You gotta stand there. Imagine you have an itch, right? Those wool wigs they had. Something that itches you. My door just open. You're looked at, you're stared at. And he said right there, that's my favorite thing to look at, because that is where in America, you're innocent until proven guilty. One of the reasons for the revolution was because you were guilty until proven innocent. And that's what old John Hancock signed his name up against. He said, this ain't right. Oh, that scared me. You see the light come in? Brown dog came in. He said, that is enough. You sitting here talking to yourself. Come play with me. Yes, on display, and you're innocent. Yeah, could you imagine that? Imagine just standing there all day. Think about it, you're a stylist. How's your hair stay looking good all day? Oh yeah, by the way, there's no air conditioning, Think about that. Think about how brutal that was. You're in jail, basically. Jail, at least you can lay down. There's no stool in this cage. It was standing, and it was small. And I was so happy he shared that, because I was like, this is something that was so important to our founders that we didn't know about. They don't teach about that in school. Stuff like that, I like to remember. Stuff like that's who makes me who I am. I celebrate that on 4th of July. I celebrate that every day. Every day is 4th of July if it's not Christmas. I love Easter too. Easter's awesome. But anyway, you guys, I'm down here loving on Brown Dog because I'm not Hassan. Why, hello, spicy one. How are you doing? Despite all the rage, there's yeah, right. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you spending your time with me. I appreciate you sharing this with me, and I have more. I have a feeling I have a lot more to learn. So hit me up on X. If you're on Discord, if you're a member of the channel, there's a link to join Discord. That's a good way to hit me up. You can send me email. I don't check my email very often. Anyway, other than that, I try to stream every day. It's a little off right now because hey, I want to give a shout out here to this person, okay? Before I say thank you, this wouldn't have happened if not for her hard-headedness, her determination. I don't remember what it was. I think it was in a Baker chat, and I was like, she'd been in my chat a couple of times, and I was like, J7, I thought she was. I didn't really understand what she had said. I was like, wait a second. Are you saying we see eye to eye? And she's like, eye to eye. It's true. It's true. It's a wonderful thing. So, J7.
Wiggle, 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 yeah. Wiggle, 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 yeah. Wiggle, 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 yeah.
You nut. Yeah. We share. We're very eye to eye. Let's see here. Hang on, wait. Somebody said something else here. Well, you're gonna start saying hi to me, okay? Listen. If you see me somewhere, guys, I promise you, I will. If you say hi to me, like it's such an honor. I will do everything I can to say hi to you, unless I'm doing a drive-by, which usually means like I am out. I'm probably in the car somewhere. I'm at a stoplight or something like that. I don't do this and drive. I can't respond to everybody. I'm not around, but you say hi to me, I'll say hi to you back. So multi-pass. You're gonna have an identity crisis by the time the stream's over. Say hi and I will say hi back. And no, never. Brecken Baker and I have nothing going on. That's him and Vegas Rick. I hope you are. And oh yes, I'm so glad you. Oh crap, they're closed tomorrow. What day is tomorrow? Tomorrow Wednesday. Okay, so I woke up Friday. I didn't feel like that. Saturday, y'all, I fell asleep in the afternoon. Sunday, I went on Nick's. I still wasn't feeling good. Yesterday, I didn't feel good. Today, I woke up feeling better. I got an IV today, and hopefully that will clear me up. Oh, hey, guess what? We have more and more Aquarians joining us. They're all over the place. We're everywhere. Today's the 31st. Yeah, but it's Tuesday, though. So I think Friday's the next day I can go to the post office, which I have to go because what would make your day? We love my rabbit. Oh, she doesn't listen. She's not here. She puts up with this full time. I just learned that that's what you call it. I thought that was something else. I thought that was something you wore. From the real state of Arizona. Look at that. We collect them over here. And redheads. Redheads are, they were. Anyway, guys, listen, hold on, wait a second. Let's see if I got, you guys are used to being sent somewhere. Let's see if I can. I had a thing, I thought. Oh, let's see here. Who is. You know what? I owe this guy. Go say hi to this guy. No, it's not Shizzy because Shizzy owes me. I love Shizzy. I love him. But anyway, guys, listen, I love y'all. Put your hands together. Put some hearts up in the chats. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to, I don't know, dude. We'll just play it by ear, right? Let's just have a good time. I love y'all. Thank you so much. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. I will be covering so much more of this Turtle Boy stuff. This has got me, my blood is boiling, literally boiling. So, this is just not right. I feel sorry. It's just not right. Oh, hey, here's one. Oh, wait, is it right? No, it's not right. Dance for me, y'all.
Well, I woke up to go give me a cold pop, Then I thought somebody was barbecuing. I said, oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Then I ran out. I didn't grab no shoes or nothing, Jesus. I ran for my life. And then the smoke got her. I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Well, I woke up to go